Now, there are only two knowledge cultures in the world, only two. One is from the Middle East, the Abrahamic, and the other is Vedic. The Abrahamic has Judaism, Christianity and Islam, the Tantra, systems which emerge, and Vedic has Sanatan, Jain, Bauddha, Jaina and Sikh. And then there is grafting in India. I mean, we were not talking about India only, but then if you talk about India, there is a grafting of two Abrahamic systems on top of these four here, So you have these two knowledge cultures. The difference is very, very, very fundamental. The Abrahamic system is theocentric, God-centered. As you all know, they are एक ईश्वरवादी और एक निराकार ईश्वरवादी. The Abrahamic knowledge culture is the primary object of knowledge in the Abrahamic culture is God. And that man, I can see people will think why I am saying that, but if you look at the 700 AD after the fall of Rome, right up to Renaissance, the European monastery scholarship was all about God. The St. Augustine or Marcus Aurelius, Thomas Aquinas, great minds. It's all about God, about man's relationship to God. That was the subject. So the entire knowledge expression of the system was around one formless God. So that is a theocentric system. Ek Ishwar, Nirakar. But the problem is that they have a Nirakar Ishwar, but it is not Nirgun. This is a logical fallacy. That's a fault line. And that's why the three one God people, they fight each other. They say one God, but my one God, not your one God. Because my one God has, as I think Spinoza says, that the Hebraic God is an angry God. Anger is not a divine property, it is a human quality. So it's to have Nirakar but Sagun, it's a logical fault line. But then that one principle, God-centrism, it generates a certain totalitarian thinking, totalitarian worldview that seeks to impose itself in several dimensions. I'll not go into the details. There is a kind of monistic straitjacket, monism ka straitjacket on the mind. The mind, everything has to be one God, one truth, one people. You see, one people. And everything else is non grata. Either it has to be transformed or it has to be rejected, if not removed. That is the price of monism. But the Vedic culture is not theocentric. It is a Jiva-centric. Jiva-centric. You will all, I think, if not laugh, you will all be amused if I say that the four Vedic generated systems, Sanatan, Bauddha, Jain and Sikh, they are godless systems. Buddhism is obviously, has no God. Jainism has no God. And you see, Sikh system has Guru, Vaheguru. And the Sanatan system has Brahman. Brahman is not God. Brahman is the energy principle. So we are in fact, luckily, happily, godless people. And we don't fight, therefore we don't fight about gods. We are not monistic, we are heterogeneous and pluralistic and therefore tolerant and therefore have a greater degree of about human rights. But our culture is worried about the rights of all life forms. You have our ladies, feeding birds, feeding ants, cooking for the dogs, cooking for the animals. sharing with all forms of life. And therefore our whole knowledge culture is devoted to welfare of life forms. So there's a very fundamentally different kind of concern. If we look at all this, then there are some basic categories of thought by which we make sense of this whole universe, in which we are very different, we think differently from the West. And I'll put it to you one by one, not go into detail because I'm sure you can all then reflect on it and consider, for example, the category of God. Now, God in the Abrahamic Western system is one and with attributes, one. The one God. हमारे घर में एक लड़की होती है, जो घर की लड़की होती है, उसके 10 नाम होते हैं. उसे कोई हनेरी कहता है, कोई एक नाम से बुलाता है, कोई कुछ कहता है, कोई कुछ कहता है. एंड देन अगर उसके रिश्ते देखे जाएं तो वो किसी की चाची, किसी की मासी, किसी की बुआ, किसी की भतीजी, किसी की बहनजी, किसी की ग्रैंड डॉटर, किसी की ताई, किसी की मामी. Very complex, you see. So no oneness. There is no one in any structure. A structure is a complex. Even the atom is not one. The subatomic particles themselves can be reduced to further divisions. You never reach the end of divisions in anything. That's what Nagarjuna, in Madhyam Karika said. And that is what he called Shunyata. If you start searching for the final, you don't find it. You want to believe in one God? Okay, Brahman. You want to believe in two? Sitaram, Radhe Krishna. You want to believe in three? You have the Trinity. You want to believe more? You have the 12 lingas and all that. 54 Shakti Peetha. And no, you don't want to believe in them. You want to make your own God. Go to the river, pick up a stone, wash the kitchen and put it there. Every day apply Roli and it becomes sanctimonious in 30. You put a calendar picture of a God on the wall. Let it remain there for 45 years. 45 years. It becomes a power focus. It controls your life. When you go, you say. When you come back, you say. And you draw power from it. So this is a relationship of inner self with the outer self. So you focus the outer self in an object. So you can do that. If you don't want to do that, then you yourself are a God. Aham Brahmasmi. Mahi Brahma. And you have the serial Buddhas. 10,000 Buddhas. Each one of us is a potential God. Potential God. So this is the cafeteria approach to God that our knowledge culture has. And that's why we are eclectic, we are not intolerant, and we find it very easy to accept a difference. Very easy to accept. So this is taken creation, Srishti, creation. In the Abrahamic system, this whole universe has been created by God. So God is a creator. He is a being. वो जैसे एक बच्चा हाथ से बैठा घड़े खिलौने, उसी तरह God is also a creator. So in the Abrahamic system, the whole universe is created by God, and God is outside the creation. Therefore, He is outside the creation, and because He is outside the creation, He watches. He is watching, and He watches everything. He watches you, and He watches your actions, and even maybe cutting challans if you do something wrong. If you do wrongs, you have to apologize. You have to seek, forgiveness. You have to confess. You see, you have to re-establish your relationship with God. So God is a very totalitarian, and He is beyond a certain line. You can't go near Him, because if you do, you transgression. पर हमारे यहाँ ब्रज में क्या कहते हैं? Avatars, because we call even the great grammarian Panini Bhagwan Panini. We call Ved Vyas Bhagwan Ved Vyas. For us, anyone who reaches perfection is God with a capital. That's what Krishna tells Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. when Arjun is not able to, recognize where God is, what is God, and even when the Virata Rupa frightens him, he's not able to. Then in the, 11th, 12th chapter, जब वो विभूतियों का वर्णन करते हैं विभूति योग में, he says, but sir, where should I recognize you? And you know what Krishna says? Wherever you see perfection, there I am. I am the perfection of everything. Even the perfection of a gambler who gambles successfully, I am that. You see? तो बड़ा ब्यूटीफुल चैप्टर है वो. स्थिर रहने वालों में हिमालय, बहने वालों में गंगा, छंदों में गायत्री, महीनों में मार्गशीर्ष. It's a tremendous poetry. Unfortunately, we don't read these books because we have been told these are religious books. Our systems, our 4 systems, we have no religious books. They are knowledge texts. They are not sacred books. They are Gyan Granth hain. And that is why they have been maintained over 5,000 years. They have been maintained because they are knowledge texts. And they have been maintained, even the Buddhists have been maintained, the Jain have been maintained, the Sanatan have been maintained, all knowledge texts have been maintained. So, creation, their creator. Now look at our system, our thinking. Our thinking, this whole creation is a self-manifestation. It is always there.